Yeah, I'm really feeling dark, my soul is for the flames. Never thought it could have been different. Boy, I took a lot of L's cause I never did listen. Try to get it right with God, live my life as a Christian.
Also, what's going on, guys? My name is Guery. Welcome to Young in Faith. We're so excited for you to be on the show. Hey, I got here tonight. I got Drew, one and only. I got Josh, one of our ambassadors, and Lemi on the platform too. Tonight it's gonna be a cool night because we're actually gonna open up the conversation and talk about violence, manhood, the hood life, and I have amazing guests here, which is Drew, and he's gonna share his testimony and just share a couple things for us. So Drew, share a bit about your story and the things that you've been through.
Yeah, man. Well, like bro said, my name's Drew. Born and raised here in South Florida. You know, I can't say that I came from a bad home or anything, man. I came from a good, loving family, but you know, wanted to test the waters a little bit, man. And
Yeah.
you know, one thing that happened to me, like we gonna bring it all the way back, man. Like I grew up angry, you know what I'm saying? And what kind of sparked that, man, was being molested as a kid. And so I kind of grew up always thinking like, you know, I ain't never gonna let no one hurt me, you know? And so like for the longest time, man, I was against gangbanging and all that, like, but then some years go by, man, and you see, you know, boys you went to school with, like they're organized, they got colors, you know, they got the girls, they got money, this and that. And, you know, coming from your typical, you know, fatherless home, like, I feel like young men, like they want that man, that male figure, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, of course you feel good in crowds, and, you know, if you got people to back you up like the gang life and all that, like you feel powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, with that kind of mindset of being angry, not letting no one gonna hurt you, this and that, having people to back up that type of anger, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's a message for destruction, man. And, you know, but I thank God that I'm here.
Yeah.
I thank God that, you know, a lot of us are here, man, because it's like, you think about it, bro, like I've seen more death, more incarcerations than, you know, success stories. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of lifestyle, man, you promised one or two things, man. That's prison or death. You know, and it's really a blessing to see, you know, some of y'all young men up here, you know, pushing for the Lord, showing the youth that there's a bigger and better way. Because, man, these kids are killing each other for nothing. You know, and they're getting younger and younger, and it's just, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so I really appreciate what y'all boys are doing, man.
Sure, man.
You know?
Yeah, man, tell me a bit, like, we talked Saturday, so like, I remember we were chopping it up and you were pretty much saying like, man, like, one of these things that you told me is that you can never ever go back to that lifestyle you lived.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, bro, Jesus changed my life, so I can't go back to what I went through actually. So like, tell me a bit, like, what made you not want to go back? Like, what was this tipping tone? Like, man, I can't do that no more. I gotta go forward.
You know, I got a son that I'm raising, man, and my son's 13, and I don't ever want my baby to have to go through what I went through. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you a minute ago, man, like, the only thing that's promised to you in that type of lifestyle, you know, like, to be honest, like, look, like, this is my boy Mike. Like, this is what is promised to you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to live that street life, this is what's promised to you. You can get your face on a t-shirt. Man, like my boy Mike, and with this kid, man, like when I was wrapped up in my foolishness, man, like this kid was around and he saw a lot of it. So for the longest time, bro, like I carried that on my heart, you know what I mean? Like I showed this kid a lot of street life, you know, and he's dead now. And, you know, he died before his, 24th birthday.
Wow.
And for us, it was like, you know, to see 25, like, man, like, you really made it up out of here. And, you know, like I said, man, I thank God for that. And I was just like, yo, with that and seeing so much death and destruction and all that stuff, man, and like I said, raising a son, like the Bible says, man, we're to be set apart. You know what I'm saying? We're to be different. And I tell my son, listen, bro, like you can be cool, man. You don't gotta be reckless. You don't gotta be ignorant. You know what I mean? You can be a man of God, bro. Like you can really make a change. Like you really wanna make a change out here? Like that ain't the way, bro. You know? And I can't go back, man, because Jesus has done so much in my life, bro, that I put so much negativity in the world when I was out there. But it's just like, man, what God did in my heart, it's like I want to put that same energy, that same passion into that kingdom business, man.
That's big.
Yeah, man. And so it's just like, yo, you see so much beautiful fruit with walking with Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Instead of putting these hands on people, bro, like having to clean blood off these fingers, bro.
Yeah.
But turning that around and using these hands for prayer.
Yeah.
Like ain't nothing more intimate when I can grab a brother's hands and look at him and say, hey, bro, I love you, man. Jesus died for you, bro. You know? And that right there, man, it's just like, you can't go back, man. Once you got a taste of Jesus, man, it's over.
Bro, you told me, he was like, bro, like, it looks a little like sus, you know what I'm saying? To like, for you to say, hey, man, I want to hug you. But you said men really need that, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of men feel like, oh, I don't want to hug you, you know what I'm saying? But like, you that's a love language right there, you know what I'm saying? Because some men, they feel like that's a weakness, but that's actually strength, because when I'm giving you a hug, I'm empowering you, you know what I'm saying? When I'm showing you love, you know, I'm empowering you. And I feel like in our community, for too long, because I went to St. Lucia's High School, you know what I mean? And I seen the hood life being attracted to so many people. Some of these people that are trying to act like they're from the hood, they're really not. They're just trying to represent the image because they think it's cool. So I was around friends that would sag their pants. I was like, bro, my jeans were tight, bro. I never put my jeans, you know what I'm saying? I never, I just didn't find it cool to sag or talk like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to be something out. Like, I had family members that are into that stuff, but I'm just not, that's not Guery, you know? So it's very easy to look at somebody, and I think for kids, they look at somebody like, man, I want to be like that. And well, the girls like that, you know, this is what culture does, you know, so I think I should do it. So what can you say to that kid that's like, I find that attractive and I want to be accepted, so I got to go do it. So what can you say to that kid?
Man, you know, like I showed y'all this shirt, man, I tell young men and even dudes that came home from prison after murder for 24 years, I tell them all, man, listen, bro. I said, the most gangster thing you could do, man, is give your life to Jesus, bro. I said, because Paul was a gangster, bro. Look at what Peter did. Man, that dude messed with Jesus, he cut dude's ear off, man. Come on now. I says, man, instead of causing so much destruction out here, like, it's so fulfilling when you shed that light of Jesus on someone and they turn around and tell you, hey, man, I was going to off myself yesterday, but because you said what you said, because you prayed with me, man, I put the gun down. Man, a dude, one of my bros, just got out of rehab the other day. He said, Drew, man, he said, bro, what you did, man, saved my life, bro. Just by praying with someone, man. I tell the young man, like, listen, bro, don't, that path is death, man. And we need to speak more life into people, and don't do it. It ain't worth it, man. You know, street credit, because this is what street credit will get you, man. It ain't worth it, man. Bump all the stripes and all that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man.
Drew, Josh, you had a question?
How old were you when you realized like that's not the life you wanted to live anymore?
I was 26, bro. I was 26, man. Around the age of 25, bro, something clicked in my mind. I was like, I want to go against everything I was ever taught, right? And around that time, my mom, she was in rehab, and I remember my mom telling me, like, you know, baby, you need to pray. And I'm thinking, oh, man, they don't brainwash mom. They talking about this Jesus stuff, right? So, because at the time, man, I was addicted to drugs and all that, and I was spiraling. So I was like, man, like, I don't want to live like this, man. Like, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of being angry all the time, man. I need some peace, right? So I prayed, and I said, Lord, man, like, if you real, like, man, I don't want to die like this, man. And shortly after that, after a few more stumbles, you know what I'm saying, getting locked up, getting into hospitals, man, Jesus showed up in such a miraculous way, man. And there's no denying it. I know that when Jesus appeared himself to me, man, in the way he did, like, I felt like the Lord was telling me, like, yo, you're not fighting this street battle no more. Like, this is a spiritual battle. Like, this is spiritual warfare out here, man. And I said, all right. I said, you know what, man? Like I say, I'm not using these hands to hurt people, man. I want to use these hands to bless people, man. And because, you know, in the hood and all that stuff, like we said a minute ago, like, you know, it's not cool to look intimate with another man. You know what I'm saying? But Jesus was the most intimate person on this planet, bro. And to sit there and love on another dude or another woman, man, and, you know, hug on them, love them, cry with them. Man, that stuff's beautiful, man. And it's like, listen, I ain't afraid to cry. You know, I ain't afraid to show vulnerability because, you know, some people are taught, oh, you got to be tough and this and that. Yeah, to a certain degree. But, man, I got a heart. I got emotions, man.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I have a question. So, obviously you went from somewhere that was, like, extremely dark and you were changed by Christ. What would you say to someone that's in your position, that's thinking about, maybe a friend told them about God and they're been involved in that their entire life? What would you say to them to get them off the edge and to encourage them to make the decision to give their life to Christ?
Keep sowing that seed in them, bro. Keep being that example to them, because, you know, you can run your mouth all day, but, you know, we see things through action. And keep planting that seed in them, bro, and keep sharing the gospel with them. And like I say, man, you know, be real with it. Like, this walk ain't easy.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it, bro. You know?
I think a lot of people, they don't see the benefit of giving yourself to Christ. Because growing up, anger was considered a strength.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You actually walking away from the fight means you're weak. But the Bible says different, you know what I mean? Shut your mouth, you know what I'm saying? You know, move yourself away from the negative influences, you know? So there's a lot of people are listening to the wrong people, you know what I mean? I think we're listening to the wrong voices. And until kingdom men show up and they step up and say, man, this is what it is to be a man. I'll never forget, like, it was me stepping out of high school saying I love Jesus. That wasn't cool to everybody. That wasn't celebrated. I was actually talked about. But I said this the last time, guess how many people call me up for prayer now? Guess how many people call me up to say, hey, I'm going through something? The same people that made fun of me in high school. You know what I mean? Because now they see, okay, Guery actually has what I need. You know what I mean? So I truly think there's a lot of kids that don't see the benefit of following God. And that's what faith takes. You know, God's not going to show you everything in the beginning. It's kind of like a journey. You have to walk through the wilderness with him, and he's going to put some stuff in your way that's going to say, you know what, I'm with you. I'm trusting you. You know what I mean? And it's big. But like I tell everybody, man, if I didn't give myself to Christ, who knows what I'll be doing now? Who knows the people that would have never heard the good news, you know? Because, like, we depending on pastors, but the truth is, a lot of us are pastors ourselves. People can listen to our messages. People are connected with us. I told somebody the biggest message that you will ever preach is the way you live your life. The way you live your life is the biggest message would you ever preach, because people are watching. They may not watch the Bible, but they may not read the Bible, but they're watching your life.
That's right.
You know, so it's the life that you live that carries weight, that shows people that, man, this is the way to live. You know what I mean? And there was time, I'm gonna be honest, there was times where, like, you get weary, because sometimes doing the good thing doesn't get celebrated. Like how Junior said the last time on the show, he was like, what's good is not celebrated, what's bad is celebrated.
Yep.
You know, so sometimes you're doing good, and I'm like, man, God, like I'm doing good. And he's like, keep going, keep doing it. Heaven's cheering. They might not cheer for you, but I'm cheering for you. And you know, and you're gonna see the benefit of that. But what can you say to somebody that's like, that's on the edge of committing self to God? Like they have a heart to, but they're not making that step because they're scared. There's a fear behind it.
You know, and like I say, man, like this walk ain't easy, but it is so worth it, man. And you will see the fruits if you be consistent with it, right? Reading your Bible, man, like you can find yourself in that word. And man, again, man, plant them seeds and continue to walk with them, man. You know, yeah, continue to walk with them, bro, and just let them know, like, and that's the thing, as brothers, as the church, man, like, bro, I will walk with you, man. Like, whatever you need, I will be there for you. Like, whatever questions you got, like, we will walk through this fire together, man. We will walk through what looks like a dead, dry valley together. If you look at the word, man, it say, you know, when you talking about the valley of dry bones, you know, sometimes that's what your life might look like. It might look like a dead valley. It might look like a dead end, man. But, man, if you got a solid brother, man, that's right there, like, bro, I got your 6, man. Like, let's do this. Let's continue to walk, man. I got you. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
You know, and because it's going to be all right. Because, man, what's that saying? Like, my worst day with Jesus is better than my best day out in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's big. That's super big. That's super big. That leads into my next question, though. Like, why is it so important to have the right friends around you? You know? Because, like, I think a lot of people, the reason why some people get in trouble is because the people they hang around with. You know? Some of them are not bad, but you hang around, you become what you hang around with.
That's right.
You know? So we got people that, you know, we got some good kids that are hanging around the wrong crowd and they're turning like them, you know, because they think it's cool or whatever. But the truth is, like, your friends can either take you higher with Jesus or lower. You know what I mean? You know, so I truly believe, like, the friendships are so important. And I'm right now in my season, I don't hang around a lot of people. You know, like, I'm in ministry, I'm doing a lot of things, and there's a saying that ministry gets lonely. You know, and it says in the crowd it says in the Bible where Jesus, he separated himself from his disciples and went to go pray with his Father. Yep. You know, so he had to separate himself from the crowd to go get in alignment with what God was telling him to. So that's how I feel. I'm like, I can't just hang with regular people no more. I can't be doing what everybody else is doing. Like, I'm trying to get to where God's calling me to do. God's calling me to big things. You may not see it, but I see it. That's right. God's been showing me. So actually, Josh, I want you to talk about it. Like, you, right now, you surround yourself with the right people. You know what I'm saying? You just actually gave your life to Christ officially like a month ago. You know what I'm saying? You've been walking with the Lord, but share your story real quick.
Yeah, like, I grew up in church. Like, my family was Christian and stuff like that. My grandparents definitely loved church growing up. Well, not them growing up, but, like, they loved trying to make us go to church. But going to church was just a thing that I felt like, okay, I was pushed to do. And I never really wanted to receive the word of God or anything. And I realized throughout my entire life that I just struggled mentally and stuff like that. Like, I didn't have a dad in my house either. Yeah. And that's, like, an absence, definitely. You need a stable 2-parent home. Without one parent, the household's just gonna crash down. So my mom was struggling growing up. And I just seen her working so hard to just take care of us. And I just felt like I couldn't do enough. Like, I was doing bad in school, I was doing bad mentally, and I was just like, I got tired of it. So thanks to Guery, I got invited to First Priority. I met a woman named Katie. She invited me to Journey. And I loved the environment there, the energy. And I just decided, like, I want to go through with it. Like, I want to be closer to God and everything. I wanted that relationship that I always said I wanted, but never went to go get it. So, like, November 16th, I got prayed for. I loved it. I wanted more of it. So I kept going back, and I just made it a habit. I made it a routine. So I just put it in my schedule that every Wednesday I'm going to go to church now. On Sundays, I'm going to try to go to church regularly. I go to 2 services on church. And it's just something that I feel like it makes me even happier as a person. I've never felt happier in my life before being with God, but after doing this, this is the happiest I've ever been.
Amen.
I've changed the people that I hang around with. I changed the music I'm listening to. I changed what I'm watching. I'm starting to try to read the Bible on a regular basis and praying, just asking God to make me more courageous, brave, just to use me as a vessel to speak to other people. I just want to live my prophecy. And yeah, it's just something I felt like helped me as a person grow better. Throughout this whole year, I haven't listened to any rap songs, just straight worship music.
Wow.
That's what's up.
And I feel like a lot of people feel like it's a hard thing to do, but I try to tell other people, if I could do it, why wouldn't God do it for you?
That's big.
Absolutely.
That's big.
Absolutely.
That's big. So like, what can you say to that person right now that's dealing with friendships? So like, if I'm trying to get to where I need to be, I'm trying to get out the games. Like, why is community so important? Like, why is having the right people around you so important?
You know, big bro, because like you said, man, like, you're going to become who you hang around, man. And, you know, like, check this out, bro. Like, what you feed grows and what you starve dies, man.
That's big. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you feeding your spirit, you know what I'm saying, with that word, only good is going to come from it, man. Because when you hang around foolishness, you are foolishness, man.
Yeah.
And you ain't going to do nothing but crash and burn, man. Like that. Like, you considered a crash dummy at that point, man. Like, you're going to crash and burn, man. And the community of brothers and sisters in Christ, man, is so important because it's like, man, with this kind of faith, with this walk, man, like, we investing in your soul, man. Like, I don't want nothing from you but to see you win, to see you thrive, to see you live. Like, you know, it's so sad that, bro, like, kids are killing each other, and the influence with the music and all that is, bro, like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, bro. And yeah.
How many friends you say you lost so far?
Oh man, bro, too many, man. One is too many, bro. But man, like, this first teardrop I got here is from my boy Weasel, man. He was 23. It got murdered, him and his wife, right? And then my cousin Gracie, she was 21. You know, she died of an overdose.
Wow, that's crazy.
Man, I lost family members to, you know, violence, drugs. My boy Mikey, you know, he was shot 5 times. Couple days before his 24th birthday, man, like, he just came home from prison. And there was I think it's L.C. Swain, right?
Yes, it's same.
So the dude who I used to bang with, because back then, like, this was a few years back or whatever, like, man, we was all, they got hit with the RICO Act. So a lot of them boys, you know, went up the road and went to prison. So, you know, 12 years later, a lot of these dudes coming home. So now my homeboy, his sons have grown up. Now they're in school. And, you know, they want to be like daddy. Right? They want to be gangster. And it's crazy that the young man was on live being gangster, man. Them boys spin the block on him, man, and shot him up. And he survived the first time. And went on live again, talking reckless and foolish. And, man, they turned around and they killed him, man. 16 years old, bro.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for what? For what? Street credit? Because you want to look hard? No, it ain't worth it, bro.
We just lost. No, I heard, like, on the news, there was one kid from Somerset, one kid from Palm Beach Central, and one kid from Santa that graduated my year, and all of them died out in a shootout. What they was involved with? The drugs, you know? And, like, I'm telling you, look at their social media accounts, it don't look like they were involved with anything. They look like really good kids. And what's sad is, first off, it's the beginning of the new year. It hasn't been a month yet. You died in the new year. And then you was about to graduate this year. So how your mama feel? Like, how do your parents, your siblings feel, you know? So, like, we just see kids dying for nothing. And I don't think they understand. You don't come back. You know, like, when you die, you die. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you die, you're dead. Like, there's no more chances, nothing like that. So to live my life recklessly like that and put myself in a position where I got to look over my shoulder, because he was saying, like, bro, it's not worth looking over your shoulder. No, you know, like, trying to figure out who's gonna hit you this week or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to live that lifestyle. You know, like I don't see why they're attractive or whatever. Josh, you was gonna say something? You want to say something?
I was thinking of what I was gonna say. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure how much time you spent in that time, like affiliated in that kind of life. But like, with the time that you were involved, what do you wish you would have done if you weren't involved? Like, what would you have done with your time?
Try not to want to be cool, man.
Yeah.
No, but you know, and you know, I wouldn't change it up, bro, because it made me who I am today. Like I thank God, I thank God, bro, that I went through that, because you know, like I said a minute ago, man, like I've seen more death, incarceration than survivors, people who survived it, and that's sad, man. And if you think about it, and like the people I was involved with, it's like, okay, we all say we under one umbrella, but yet this dude shooting this dude, and it's just like, y'all talking about this supposed to be a brotherhood, you know, we gonna die for this and this and that. And you look at it, and it's pointless. It's pointless. It's like, man, y'all killing each other, man. Y'all ain't on no structure, no brotherhood, no nothing. And you just look back at it like it's crazy, man. Like one young man, 17, got 2 life sentences, bro. And he was the youngest one in the group. And it's like, I think about it like that kind of influence. This young man lost his life for a flag, for a color, and look at him now. None of them get along. Dudes are up the road, dudes are going home, this and that, and it's just like all that was for nothing, bro. But like I say, man, thank God that I lived through that, man, and you know, that's the type of stuff I said a minute ago, bro. Like all that destruction I put out in the street, man. Like to turn that around for some kingdom business. Oh man, go hard for the kingdom, man. And it's glorious, bro. Like when you can sit there and tell another rival gang member, right? Like my boy King Tone, right? Did 24 years in prison for murder. Comes home and he's all king this, king that, blah, 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 blah. And I tell him, I said, that's crazy, bro, because I used to be the one shouting out, yo, King Killer. You know what I mean? And he was like, man, you kind of bold talking to me like that. I said, because listen, I serve a bold God, bro. And that type of stuff right there, bro, again, man, will open things up. And like, we're brothers. He loves God, bro, and it's amazing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, like his whole life is crazy because it's like, listen, like somebody that comes, by the way, you're a product by God because people don't make it out of this. God saved them for a reason. Because now he's literally putting a message out there and saying, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can make it through, you can make it through. So he's living his life on mission. I believe, like, even for your son, he's even saying, like, my son would never go through that. My son would never, ever experience that, you know. We was actually talking about music, you know what I'm saying, what your son would listen to. Now, like, I think music is a big thing in the culture, you know what I'm saying, because the music is promoting all this stuff. And I always tell people, like, bro, music is preaching to this generation 100%. You know, like, we think it's just music and its lyrics, but it's like, bro, like, you know, they spitting out trash, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but me personally, I don't listen to Kodak. You know what I'm saying? I think, like, I would say, like, 2015 when I was in 7th grade, that's when Kodak came out. Now, before then, like, because I'm Haitian, right? Growing up, claiming that you were Haitian, bro, people, they would diss you. Lemi, you would know that too. Like, they would diss you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you eat cat, you trash, this and that, whatever. Bro, you dark, all this stuff, whatever. For me, I'm light skinned, I don't really care. But, like, you know what I'm saying? but not for real, though. Like, it was, like, people would be like, yo, like, you know, because I was lighter back then, so it was like, hey, like, what are you? I'm like, oh, I'm mixed, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't cool to claim that. But when Kodak came out, everybody's like, oh, I'm Zoe, Haitian, this, and I'm like, what? Bro, you were just saying you was Chinese like 2 weeks ago. Like, what you talking about, you know? So a lot of people, they're looking for something to represent, but I feel like with Kodak, you know, I can't listen to somebody that's you got people that listen to your music, but your character is not aligned with God. You know what I'm saying? You putting stuff in your lyrics. People are saying free Kodak, but then your lyrics are talking about violence and all this stuff and women. And it's like, I can't listen to none of that stuff. So what can you say to that kid that's like, yeah, it's just a song, you know? Like why is it so important to watch what you listen to?
Oh man, the influence on it, bro. Cause you know, like back in my day, like we had Tupac, man. Like Tupac was it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I asked some of the younger generation, y'all ever heard of Tupac? And they're like, nah. And I'm like, man, I'm showing my age, boy. Like that's crazy, man.
You know Justin Bieber, bro.
Yo, man. And but no, man, the influence of music, bro, is everything that goes against God's word, man. Right? Because all you hear in today's music is these three things, right? I'll kill you, sell dope, or you know, F your wife, you know what I'm saying? You know, so okay, right? You got violence, you got adultery, right? And everything else that just goes against it, like where's the life in it, right? Because look at all these rappers that are dead, right? It's like, man, you preaching death to the kids, man, and you gotta put that stuff down, man. Because really, like, I know you say you don't want to diss, but I diss them all, bro. They trash. You know, this generation of music is trash and it's death music, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like what people say. They'll say garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So like you listen to this and you feed it into that's what you're putting into yourself every single day. You're consuming it, and that's what you're gonna output. Like what you consume is what you're gonna like show to the world. And as you said, like exactly how you present like the Bible to someone, that's how like the way you act, the way you go about your day, that'll represent Christ. So if you're like consuming secular music and you're gonna act in a secular way, you're gonna act in a worldly way. So 100% music has like a huge impact on the way you present yourself and the way that you like show to the world that like you're a Christian or not. So I think that's a huge.
You know, you're like, even like with the young ladies, man, like you think it's cool to call yourself a bad bee? Like, really? Like, man, you is someone's daughter. You someone's, you know what I'm saying? Like, God made you and you calling yourself a bad bee? Or like even as a young man, like, oh, I'm a savage, right? It's like, you want to be labeled as that, bro? For what? Because you think you untouchable? Look at all the rappers that done been touched, that are in the grave right now, talking all that tough stuff. Oh, they tough till them bullets ripped on. Then what? R.I.P.? Free my dog? No, man. Like, bro, that's why I thank God for what y'all doing here, man. Like, because the youth need it, man. The Bible says to train up a child in the way they should go, and in the end, they will not depart from it, right? So when y'all get in these schools, man, right, getting them younger and younger, man, like my son, thank God, bro, like, thank God God changed me to teach my son, and I give my son the game raw, man, because I went through it, and I'm able to tell him, you know, the if and thens, like, all right, listen, you, if you act like this, then this is gonna happen. You wanna be gangster, you know what happens to gangsters? Gangsters die, they get murdered, right? Oh, you think you wanna party and have fun? Man, people overdose. People die, man. And it's just like, dog, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. And how they normalize it, man. And it's just like, yo, you feeding these kids poison, man.
Yeah.
Straight poison.
Yeah. Your mother's in the crowd somewhere. She's, I know she came to visit, but you told me a bit about her story. Tell me a bit, like, you want to share, like, man, how she's an example for you. I think you got baptized around the same time or something she got.
Yeah, so, right, mom, again, she was in rehab, and so, you know, she's like, hey, I'm gonna go get baptized. So I wasn't down with Christ or nothing, so, but I'm like, yo, that's mom, I gotta support mom, you know? So, went to this Common Ground church in Lake Worth, and I remember the pastor, Pastor Mike, man. he walked up to me with his arms open like he was gonna hug me, and I'm standoffish like, man, hold up, bro. Like, man, what's up with this lovey-dovey stuff, man? And he's like, hey, man, I heard a lot about you. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, bro, yeah. So anyway, man, we wound up going to the beach, man, and they baptized my mom, man. I kid you not, bro. Like, I see my mom come out that water, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what that is, bro. But that's cool. I want that. And November 17th of 2013, I had got baptized. Wow. I think my mom had got baptized, in May or something like that? September, my fault. But yeah, man, I was like, yo, that's cool, man. And it's crazy. The day I got baptized, we went to Lake Worth Beach, and the waves were so choppy, bro. So, man, we're getting bashed by these waves while I'm getting baptized. We're like, in the name of the Father, the Son, Holy Ghost. We're like, man, finally went down, came up out that water, man, and I was like, bro, my life ain't been the same since, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So it was, my mom really sparked the way for it, bro. Cause seeing and experience the things that we went through together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Cause me and mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were getting high at the same time. Like, we got clean at the same time.
Wow.
You know, but my mom really sparked it off, man. And you know, let her tell it. She was like, yo, she just got baptized for fun.
Wow.
You know, wasn't really like invested too much into it, but like that one small choice sparked so much in our lives, man, that it's been amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's really been amazing, bro.
It's kind of like one choice can lead you to the grave, and one choice can lead you to life.
Straight up, man.
It can lead you to life, you know? So, you know, we think choices are choices, but they're actually something that redirects our life to where we want it to be. So we have to ask ourselves, it's like, man, like, what do I want with my life? You know what I'm saying? You know, because I'll tell you, the boys that I went to school with, they had their high school clout. High school's over. Yeah. You know, real life is bills and all this stuff. So it's like, bro, no one cares about what you did in high school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the boys that I thought were like, oh man, they're up there, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you weren't really, you know, and you'll be surprised like how many people, they shout all that stuff on social media and everything, but behind the scenes, you don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They might be being depressed. You know, that's probably like, man, I got to put on this look because I don't want nobody to mess with me. You know, like, I got to become like this because I actually want to be accepted. And we have to be careful of who we seek validation from, because if you seek validation from the crowd, you will never be accepted. I just got to say that off the bat.
That's right.
Like, you would never, ever be accepted if you seek validation from the crowd. You got to seek validation from God, which is the only one that gives you, he already accepted you into the kingdom. Amen. You know what I'm saying? But Amen. A lot of us don't see that because we see the physical and everything's spiritual. But I actually want to shift the conversation. Your mom, obviously, you guys both got, you guys were in that hole together. You know, you guys got out together. Like, what can you say to a kid that may not have the best lifestyle? Like, we have, I talk about it a lot on the platform, but we're seeing kids that are coming from toxic homes. They're coming from parents that are not good. They've been raped, or they've been molested, like how you shared. So like, how do you fight that, you know?
Oh, man, by simply being Christ-like, bro. Like, because, man, Jesus went to everybody. Mm-hmm. Even his own disciples was like, man, you eating with sinners and this and that. And he was like, man, like, Jesus will go to anybody. Mm-hmm. Tell you I love you, man. And, you know, like you share, bro, a lot of us come from fatherless homes. Mm-hmm. Right? Mom stuck on dope, you know, having to live with your grandparents and all that, man. And letting them know that, hey, listen, even though I never had a physical father, I've had a spiritual father, right? And for me, to have a son, to give him something that I never had, could only come from God, right? To give him the kind of love that I never got, right? Man, that's loving on them, bro, wherever they at. I'm not saying, hey, man, clean you up. No, man, like, you got to catch the fish before you clean them, right? And that's with anybody, especially any youngster or young lady, man. You know, catch them where they at, man. And just spread that love to them, man, and just encourage them and sow into them. You know what I'm saying? You know?
That's big. Y'all have something to share?
Yeah, I think when you said Jesus goes to everyone, it really shows because a lot of people they think they need to be perfect or like they think they need to be good people in order to go to church. I know like some people they would say that, oh, I'm not good enough to go to church. But one of my youth pastors made the point to me that like going to church is kind of like a broken person going into a hospital. You don't make yourself whole and healed before you go into the hospital.
Right.
You come to the hospital as you are broken, and then you get healed. And
that's good.
that really shows. That made me think of that when you said that. But yeah,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
The church is not. I think people think the church for the perfect. You know what I'm saying? So the church is the hospital.
yeah,
You know, you come there to get healed. You come there to see something work in your life, you know? So, like, that's why for me, church is not, it's not optional. It's a priority in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, every day, like, I literally quit the football team to come to church on Wednesdays. You know, I was on a football team my freshman year. You know what I'm saying? I sucked, but it was whatever. You know what I'm saying? I still, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was a bench warmer, but
There you go.
I played a couple games, you know what I'm saying?
that's true.
But I was at church every time Christ Social had something, I was there. You know what I mean? And like people are like, yo, why you go to church? Is that? It wasn't something like bro, as God taught me so much at age 14, where I am now, it was like, dang it, like how many opportunities has the Lord put on my plate?
Yeah.
You know, to reach the next generation. Stuff that I never ever thought I would be doing right now, where like God has put me in a position to say, hey, you're next. You know, you're the one that's gonna change that like you don't like people don't understand how much power they have when they walk in a room. You know, like you gotta look at the world and be like, man, the world's dark, but I'm a light.
That's right.
Every time I walk somewhere where it's dark, I light up the room.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what God has put on me to break, you know, generational curses, to go in schools to say, you know, to tell the devil you can't have these kids. This is my school. I'm taking territory. You know what I mean? So I have so much, but also you go through a lot of warfare too. You know, because some people see my life and they see social media. Oh my God, Guery, you're doing an amazing job. Yeah, but you don't know I'm struggling at the house. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if I'm struggling, you know, in my personal life or my insecurities or whatever. Like the devil's gonna attack you he only attacks people that are great. If you're a threat to hell, he's gonna attack you.
He's coming.
He's coming for you.
He's coming.
You know, so and the way he's gonna come to you is in your insecurity. He's gonna come in a spot where you're weak and he's gonna test that. So I can say like, you know, like we were just saying, 2022 was trash, bro. Like it was terrible, you know. Well, I'm not gonna say that because God has come through, you know, through a lot, you know. But it wasn't the best of the best year, you know. But what 2022 taught me was I can't give up because God is still, he's allowing me to see the vision, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like I explained to you, a pastor the other day, it's kind of like God's like, you know, have you ever seen a gift in front of under a Christmas tree? And you're like trying to peek at the gift and you're trying to like take wrappings off of it. So I feel like God's doing that in my life. Like he's just showing me a gift. He's giving me a gift, whatever, but I'm like wrapping it, you know, like taking tear by tear to see what it is. So it's kind of like, man, like, Guery, you think this is all that there is, but I got so much more for you that you haven't even seen.
So much more.
Like, every time I go to bed, I dream about it. Like, I dream about, you know, stadiums packed with students.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see it. People, when you tell people, like, well, but Guery, you know, it's all, you know what I'm saying? But, like, no, I see it, you know, and I know it's going to happen. So I think that's the benefit of walking with Christ.
Yeah.
You know, that's the benefit of serving God. You know, you get those, that's the benefit of it, you know. Let's talk about your marriage. Let's talk about, like, pretty much, you got a wife at home, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, talk about, like, your growth with her, you know, your journey with her. You know, you guys been together for 20?
Yeah, me
20
and my
years?
wife been together going on 20 years. We've been married for October, May 7th.
Awesome.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, me and my wife got history. Yeah, man. So my wife, she's amazing, man. You know, she went through some dark times too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She was actually molested also by an uncle of hers. So, you know, she grew up in North Philly, so she from up north. She got with a down south dude.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah, man. Like my wife is so precious, man. You know, the Bible tells us to love your wife like Christ loves the church. Right? And again, coming from a good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you know, like I said, like I was saying, like Christ, you know, love your wife as Christ loves the church, man. And again, man, coming from, you know, a fatherless home and seeing the type of individuals my mom did choose, I was just like, yo, I never want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? And the things that God has pulled my wife through has been amazing, man, because, you know, like I said, this second teardrop was from my cousin Gracie. And, you know, you said it a minute ago, bro, either you gonna make it or you not, right? Because my cousin Gracie decided to live that fast life, right? She wanted the quick money. She wanted to be a bad bee, this and that. Well, that led to what? HIV, right? That led to drug overdose, right? And my wife was going down that same path, right? My mother was going down that same path. Like, I lost her aunt to a similar situation, but because my wife, because my mom decided to make that choice and take heed to the word of God, they're here, they're alive, they're thriving, they're doing better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, man, like, bro, when my wife prays, like, bro, that stuff sends chills down you, man. And my wife's amazing, bro. And she really holds me down as a husband. And I love her, man, like the Bible say to. You know, and that's one thing about, you know, being a man is, you know, being the husband to one wife, man. Like, yeah, I had my hoeing days, right? But to sit there and have your conscience be clear, like, man, I love this one woman. I'm coming home to this one woman. Keeping my eyes pure, you know what I'm saying? Not looking at them things on the phone, right? Because that stuff right there will actually, you know, scar up your marriage, because then you start putting expectations on your loved one because of what you've seen in the video. But to have that biblical understanding, man, to love your wife like how the Bible say to, man. Man, me and my wife are solid, bro. You know what I'm saying? She's awesome.
She's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love that, bro. Katie, I asked you, like, I'm calling out in the crowd, she right there. But me and Katie chat up all the time, whatever. But we were talking about, like, I asked her, like, why is it that women are attracted to more hood dudes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, and we talked about this in the car too. Because, you know, Josh, he was like, you know what I'm saying, I'm not even trying to be that dude, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, this is what the girls like. Yeah. So that was, I'm gonna be straight, I'll be transparent. That was a huge insecurity for me, because, like, when you see like in high school, when you see the women, they don't want no Christian dude that's going to church, that's serving the God and all that. That's a good dude that you should, you know, have in your life and everything like that. But that's not what they want.
Yeah. So,
like, what can you say to that woman that wants a thug in their life, that wants to have fun, you know what I'm saying? You know, poor credit. They probably got poor credit.
Right.
You want high credit, you know what I'm saying?
Man, like, you know, like with the ladies, man, like I give them, you know what I'm saying, the testimonies of my loved ones that I've lost, man. Like, yo, that's, again, it all boils down to, you know what I'm saying, like, young lady, if you want to live that life, this is what's going to come with it, man, right? You're going to get a dude who ain't nothing, spilling his seed everywhere. You're going to have a bunch of babies. You might end up with some STDs and this and that. And it's like, young lady, value yourself, man. You are a child of God. Like, you're not a bad bee. Like, you know, like, you're a queen, man. You're precious. You're valuable, right? Don't lower yourself to that type of stuff, man. You know, because living that type of lifestyle, man, again, like it's not worth it, man.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. I tell myself, like, for my first kid, like, I want a daughter. I don't know why, but God put it in my heart. I want a daughter. You know what I'm saying? But, like, the one thing I'm going to teach my daughter is, like, don't let your foundation come from a man. You know, don't let a man be all that is for your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not your life. You know, God is your everything, you know? So that's big for me. But, like, you know, Josh, what do I talk about all the time on social media? What do I talk about?
A lot.
Relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah.
I talk about relationships that God put in my heart. Because, like, in high school, like, some of the conversations, some of the quotes that I write and the things that I write are from conversations that I had with homegirls coming to me with their issues. So, like, I'm like, why are you coming to me? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But, like, it was a spiritual thing because they were coming to me like, hey, because they trust me. But one of the things that I always saw in their hurt was they trying to find their hope in a dude.
Yeah.
They trying to find their worth in a dude. You know, they trying to find their everything in somebody, an individual. And it's like, yo, you're never going to find it. And if you're trying to change somebody, that's not how it works.
No.
You know? But I truly think, like, you know, we got to stop looking at, you know, this date to date, but actually looking at marriage, having a solid marriage, because that's my goal. Like, I'm not just trying to date you, just go have fun. Like, you can find that anywhere.
Right.
You know, like, that's everywhere, you know. You want to have sex, go find somebody at the club or whatever. But, like, having a marriage is beautiful, you know, and I value that. You know, and for me, it's worth it for me because in my family generations, we never really saw a healthy marriage. You know what I'm saying? We never really saw the model of, like, hey, this is what a marriage looks like, you know? So it's like, man, I want to start that for myself.
Yeah.
You know? So, Josh, you want to actually, I think you got something to say too. I know Lemi got something to say too.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what is something that you would say to someone in my generation that doesn't really find the value in staying with a partner for a long period of time? Maybe, like, they've been sleeping around because, like, right nowadays, that's, like, the culture.
Yeah.
In our generation. What would you say to them to encourage them? Maybe like something that you've experienced in your marriage that you haven't found in any of the other relationships that you've been with outside of that.
Well, you know, like you've heard women say, "Oh man, ain't no good men left."
Right.
Well, for the fellas, we got to dig in your chest about it, man. You talking about you want a good woman. Man, you gotta be a good man, bro. Like, you can't have queen material, man, if you out here acting like a fool, man. Right? If you want a good woman, you got to be a good dude. And what does a good dude look like, man? You know, as the Bible says, man, the man is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. Now, because women came from the rib, they didn't come from the feet. We don't step on our women, right? They came from our side, right? We gotta hold them close, man. Right? Next to our heart. That's how we are to treat women, bro.
That's fire.
And
That's fire.
it's just like, it's crazy, like, man, with y'all younger generation, man, like, I know I had my hoorah back then, but bro, y'all youngers on some other stuff.
It's like hoorah, rah.
Bro.
Rah.
Yeah,
you know, like, it's like that,
man. It's crazy, man, but again, like, letting them know, like, man, Tallahassee is like, what, number 6 in the United States for the AIDS or something like that.
That's crazy.
That's up the road, bro. So I'm like, man, young lady, young man, like, you really think, like, you want to open up yourself to that, man? Like, there's some stuff you ain't gonna be able to get rid of now, and that should scare you. Because that stuff is scary, man. Like, I've known people that have died of AIDS, and I've seen them on their last days, and it's horrible what they're going through, man. And you just think like, God, if somebody would have invested into their life, if somebody would have told them that biblical truth on what a marriage looks like, what fatherhood looks like, all that stuff, man, like maybe they want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just sad, man, that, you know, this type of stuff ain't taught. Like, values ain't taught, man. You know?
Standard, too. There's no standard.
Yeah.
No, standard's very low.
Very low, bro. Very low, man.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, did you have your father in your life at all, or was he just like gone?
Never met him a day in my life, bro. See, like, we lived in Lake Worth, right? My father, I think, had a place somewhere in Palm Springs, which was like 5 minutes up the road. Like, I went to high school with a sister that I never knew. Only way I found out about it, me and my mom used to get frappuccinos in the morning to get the gel paper. So I'm flipping through it one day, and I'm like, oh snap, I go to school with this chick. And my mom's like, yeah, that's your sister. I'm like, wait, what?
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy. So I'm like, somehow we got the number. I called, and I was like, hey, you know, such and such, you know, this your son? Click. So I tried at 14, but like I never knew this dude a day in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like my dad was in my life when I was younger.
Yeah.
I would say like he moved away when I was like 7 years old to Texas, and then I didn't really see him for a couple of years. I saw him again when I was around about to be 14, or I was 14 playing football, and I missed a football game to go hang out with him for like 2 days. And I feel like since he has money and stuff, he just tries to fill in all that missed time with all the money he has. And since I never really had a relationship with him, I never really cried for him, because I never had that bond for him. I never had that love for him. I feel like it sucked as a son, like one of your firstborn, to just never have you around, and I never had that figure to just teach me how to be a man.
Yeah.
So when he left, I just gave him a hug and said, I'll see you soon, not knowing how long that time would just expand to. And then I seen him like 2 years ago. He has a beautiful house, but I never felt welcomed in that house. I was there for 2 weeks, and I didn't know what to say to him or his wife. He asked me what's on my mind. I just say, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable around you guys because I don't have a relationship with you. Yeah. And I always say that I never really cared for my father. So when people would say something, I'd be like, I don't care. You can say what you want about him. But deep down, I have a love for him that I don't admit to many.
Right.
Like, I love my father, but I just never had the time to make a relationship with him, even though I tried.
Yeah.
It just seems like he didn't want it back, but I still pray for him and stuff like that, because I still want him around, and it hits hard.
Yeah.
Because I see that in like a lot of people nowadays that have like fatherless homes and stuff. I feel like they don't forgive their fathers. But the thing about me is, like, I'm all about forgiveness. I don't have hate towards nobody, even the people that did voodoo on my family. You feel me? I seen the people that my mom was with, and I seen how the relationships ended. And I would just absorb all that growing up, and I'll be like, I never want that again. Yeah. Like, I want the best for my mom, how hard she worked for us growing up. You know, like, single mom, working 2 jobs, you're pregnant and stuff like that, doing anything you can. It's like, it sucked, but I love my father to death, you feel me? Yeah. Like, I still want a relationship with him that I never had. Yeah. And I'm 18 years old.
That's good, man. Like, my father died a couple years ago, man, but, you know, because of his absence and because we never had a relationship, I ain't shed a tear. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, it is what it is. And again, that all comes back to, you know what I'm saying, having that heavenly father, man. And, yo, if it wasn't for reading the Bible, like, the Bible taught me how to be a father. The Bible taught me how to be a husband. The Bible taught me how to be a minister. It taught me how to be a friend, a brother, right? Man, it taught me so much, man. And, you know, whatever kind of absence you had, big bro, you know what I'm saying, just know that, and you thank God that you know that now, that, man, you've always had a heavenly father, man. He's always been there, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's beautiful that he's always been there, bro. And then just whenever you take heed, it's like, like, man, listen, son, I've always been here. Like, I love you, man. And, you know.
Yeah, I just want to be the best for my kids growing up.
Yeah.
I want nothing but the best. Like, when I have a kid, I want to be everything my father wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, because my dad, only about money and stuff like that.
Right.
And, like, he has, like, overall, I have like 11 siblings, like step half, and just one full sibling.
Yeah.
Just me and my older brother.
Yeah.
So we were his firstborn, but he left us like it was nothing, no problem. And now it's like he's all about money. He has another, like we have another brother. He left him when he was a young kid.
Wow.
And then I have a little brother now that I live with. His dad left. He did voodoo on our family. He's like, I want to be a role model for him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm getting closer to God and everything, and I'm starting to understand like how it is to be a real man in this generation. And it's like, not many people are trying to do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as the big brother, I have to be a role model in a way. So I want to teach him as he grows what not to do, because I've seen and examined the exes that my mom had, and I would see what they would do and what they shouldn't have done.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just remember that and be like, that's not what I'm going to do when I'm a man.
Yeah.
When I grow up, when I have kids, I'm going to make sure I do the exact opposite,
Yeah.
so I can have a stable household.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, man. And you
Yeah.
know, everything
Yeah.
that you went through, bro, use it. Learn from it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can learn from a fool, man. You be like, yo, listen, I know that's what I not need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all the hardships that you went through, bro,
Embrace
use
it.
that, big bro.
I embrace it.
Yeah, man, embrace it, because that's what makes you you, bro.
You learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And be an example to your little bros. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I never had an older brother or nothing like that. You know, so I learned a lot of this stuff on my own. You know, and but to be able to turn things around, bro, to speak life, you know what I'm saying? Instead of showing you know, when I was out there in the world, man, showed a lot of youngsters a lot of foolishness, bro. But to be in the position that God put us in now, to be that light to the younger generation, to be that example, man, it's such a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You have to be the man that you never saw. I feel like the Spirit told me that. Like, you got to be the man that you never saw. You know, so
Straight up.
and I also believe God's going to provide the right people to speak to you. You know what I mean? So, like, when I got to Christ Fellowship, I'm like, oh, like, people loving on me, you know what I'm saying? People, like, trying to spend time with me. Like I always tell people, I have, like, 10 mentors, pastors that I could call up for anything I need. You know what I mean? Like, men that are up there that are father figures in my life that have shown me the way. So, you know, there was certain stuff that my present father didn't show me, but God provided through them.
Yeah.
And they showed me the way. They loved on me, you know what I mean? They poured into me. So you may not have the father, your blood one that may show you things, but God's going to provide the right person to represent his love to you, you know, because, you know, for sure, 100%, like, God's our Heavenly Father, and he's going to provide. But I also believe there's a desire and there's a thing, there's a one in your heart to say, man, I want a physical love. I want a tangible love. So it's like, God's going to give that to you, you know what I mean? And you're never in lack, you know what I'm saying? Like, as I've been walking with God, I have never ever been in anything of lack. I always had what I needed in the right season. You know what I'm saying? When I wanted to start Young in Faith, guess what God did? He provided a business mentor for me out of nowhere, where he walked me through this, when he walked me to how to build a business and how to network and all this stuff, you know what I mean? So it's like every season I had in my stepping stone, God provided. So we have to understand too, like, don't look at what you don't have, look what God's giving you.
I know that's
You know what I'm saying? Don't look at what it's gone, look at what's coming. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you need is going to be on the way.
Yeah.
And that's encouraging for every kid that's out there, you know, like, you know, stop trying to look to the crowd, stop trying to look up to all this foolishness that's not worth it, you know, because that stuff will never fill you up, you know what I'm saying? You know, in the Bible, there's the woman at the well, you know what I mean? You know, like, obviously, like, Jesus uses this imagery of how, like, she, you know, went to the well to, you always go to the well for water. She was thirsty, but she had 5 husbands, you know? So what does that mean? She was always going to a man to find her validation, to find her worth, to fill her up. If that one didn't work out, she wanted that one. This one didn't work out, she wanted that one, you know? And it's like, why don't you just come to me? Why don't you try me? And I encourage students all the time, like, this is not the thing on TikTok that's promoted, but this is the thing that's going to change your life. You know what I mean? And there's churches in the area, like, there's 20 churches in the area that will love you, that will love on you, that will show you the way.
Yeah, for sure.
And you talked about it too, bro. Like, you've been growing, bro. Like, how has Journey been?
Within like 2 months, I felt like I've grown more spiritually than ever before in 17 years of my life.
Amen,
like
bro.
I said, churches make me feel happier, but going to church, like Katie, Like her husband prayed for me, Bruce, and I've heard his story. We talked the first day for like 40 minutes, and it was an immediate connection.
Yeah.
I like the man. He's a cool person, and he prayed for me the other day, and I was asking God, while they were worshiping, to just like give me an encounter. Like I want to surrender fully. I'm tired of being where I am. I'm tired of being stuck. Like I just want you to control my life. I want to be a vessel.
Yeah.
And then he prayed for me, and pretty much like, it's crazy to see how quick God works. Because I was asking, seeking, and knocking, and I received the gift in full. He prayed for me, and immediately I just started crying.
Yeah,
and I just gave him a good hug. And it was like a good 2-minute hug, and him just saying, I love you. And those words just break me. Because it's like, the love you can get in church is not a love I feel like other people can just give you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people try to fill in like the holes in their life that maybe they don't have a father figure in their life. They try to fill that with what's popular like in the world. But really, like you have a God-shaped hole in your life that can only be filled by God.
Yeah,
And like when you experience that, it's a life-changing experience. Like there's nothing else like it. Like you can probably tell from like your encounter that there's nothing even close.
Nothing made me feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like church shouldn't be the last thing on our mind. That's the thing. Like, nobody cares about church no more. You know, like church is like, oh, I'll go if I want. I'll go for Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But like, actually
Two-time
commit.
Christians.
What? Like Easter and all that. You know
Go
what
for the
I'm saying?
events.
You know, and this is why we need to get out this religion crap, because that's not how God works. If you're trying to check God off the box and say, hey, I just went, like he doesn't care for none of that. You know, he's caring for a relationship. And that's what I was never taught that until I got to CF about what a relationship looks like. You know what I'm saying? So when you got a relationship, like I pretty much bet you, like if you walk in the house and don't say that to your wife every single day, how is that relationship gonna look like?
Right.
It's gonna look like trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But why? Why is it so important to talk to your wife? Why? Because we're growing. We need to grow. We need to be. I need to know what's going on in her life. I need to talk to her about what I'm going through.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing with God. Like he wants to hear from us. He wants to see us win. You know what I mean? Like God's not against you. Like God, more than anybody, God wants you to become who you're called to be.
That's right.
So He's gonna put you in a position where, you know, you're gonna have what you need. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? So it's bigger than that. It's a big thing that it's just you can't really describe it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. No, that's
So,
right.
depending on how you use social media, you can influence the right crowd with the right content. Like I just had a friend text me earlier before we started filming. I just texted him like to make sure he just checks the live and stuff.
Yeah.
Then he texted me saying, I've been seeing the content you're posting, and that's making me read my Bible again. And hearing that is like, I'm fairly new to this, but I'm still able to influence certain people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. It's like, damn, I never thought I was going to be able to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
But given the proper opportunities, I'm more than grateful for these opportunities. I'm grateful for all the things that I had in life, and I don't want to take anything for granted.
Yeah, I felt a similar way when I first started going to Journey. I had like coming back from the summer. I was kind of on a spiritual high. I came back from a conference, and I thought, man, I was just gonna spread the word into my whole school, and that wasn't the reality. And I kept on inviting people every day, every week, and I got my one friend, Dylan. You know Dylan,
Yeah.
and he got to go, and he started getting involved into the church, and at one of the encounter nights, one of the worship nights, we were praying, and after, we were all in tears. After, he came up to me, he's like, Lemi, you really changed my life. And I thought back to how I thought, man, I was going to have a whole change in maybe my school and my community, but just the one person that I was able to invite and have a change in their life was all, that could be the whole purpose of my life, was to move in their life.
That's right.
And that put me in a space of humility to realize that God really is the only one that needs the glory. Because I was putting myself up on a pedestal to say that I'm going to be able to move in all of these people's lives, when the whole purpose of my life could be to move in one person's life.
That's right.
And that was really a perspective change for me when I first started being involved in the church, is that you really just takes one person. Sure, it takes one person.
Yeah,
That's right.
You see how church can change somebody. I didn't want to keep it to myself, so I invited 2 other friends. And then one friend, like he came on encounter night, and then like the same person that prayed for me the other day, Bruce, prayed for him, and I seen how it touched him. So after he got prayed for, I seen him wipe his face, and I understood like he got spoke to. and he understand what just happened. He felt something that he's never felt before. So I seen him wipe his tear. So I sat down with him and just started talking to him for like 40 minutes on a conversation we've never had with him. I was telling him, like, I'm not talking to you as a friend, I'm talking to you as a brother. Like, you never felt this before, and there's a love that you need to feel. It's like, come to church, bro. Like, I just kept thanking him, like, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
So let's do it together. Let's grow together.
That's
I
right.
can't say you're at fault in anything because I know I'm a sinner too. So I'm not going to just blame you. I'm going to blame myself because I know we all fall under sin.
Right.
So instead of just bashing you for something, let's admit what we do and let's just grow from it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to keep none of that to myself because it's like the love I feel, the connection I felt from the church is like, why would I want to keep this to myself when I know I can spread it, and that's our purpose.
Right.
Like as Christians, we're meant to lead the lost. We're here to spread the light. We're not supposed to, like in Matthew, we're not the light to just put it under the table, but on top of the, you feel me, like the mountain, the pedestal. We're supposed to put it on top to spread the light around the room.
Yeah.
So we're not here to just keep it all to ourselves. If we know the truth, why not just spread it?
Yeah.
So here to save.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, man, like you're the biggest message that you will ever preach is how you live your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are people seeing when they watch your life? You know, what are people watching? Because you may not ever speak on a platform. You may never be in front of 2,000 people preaching, but 3-5 people, I promise you, are like, man, like, what is this kid up to? Yeah. You know, so I didn't even think that. Like, I tell people this story. Like, I went through a Chick-fil-A line, like last year, and then dude was like, Guery, what's up, bro? What's going on? This and that. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know you. You know how you play around, you be like, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I was doing. So, like, I didn't really know who he was, but I just played along. He was like, man, like, I love your videos. I love what you're doing on social media and everything like that. And what?
5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Him just kind of saying, like, I watch your videos and all this stuff. Kid, I didn't even know. It was like, man, God, that was a sign. You're telling me to keep going. You know, you're telling me to keep. Like, I know, like, some videos don't hit like 5 million views. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's and I sometimes I compare. Sometimes I'm like, man, God, why is this, you know, person getting 10 million views for just putting jokes out there, and I'm trying to put good content out there. Like, what you know what I'm saying? He's like, you're not an entertainer.
Right.
You're not entertaining people. You're trying to reach people. You're a preacher.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're preaching the word.
Right.
So obviously, preaching the word is not accepted as putting on jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm not on TikTok, you know, doing flips and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm telling you about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's going to change your life. So that was my biggest encouragement. Another one was like, I had a mom that there's 2 girls I mentored. They're sisters that I mentored from a distance at Christ Fellowship, and I could tell they've been going through a lot and everything. And their mom texted me and said, I just want to thank you for looking after my babies. Yeah. You know, I want to thank you for looking after my daughters. They don't even have the father right now in their life. You know what I'm saying? So they look up to you and they see you. You know, they have a man figure now, and it's like, man, that touched me, because I'm like, sometimes you don't know what God's doing behind the scenes. You don't know what people are going through. Yeah. But the life that you live, how you love people, how you cherish people is the biggest message, you know, and the biggest impact, actually. So, yeah.
I know that's right, man. Like, I got a spoken word out. It's called Just Imagine, and it's my testimony, and it's on YouTube. And I had put it out, and a dude from Connecticut saw it, and he was so moved. He actually flew me out to Connecticut to go speak at churches, you know, because there was such a bad heroin epidemic over there. And he just had got out of rehab the other day, and I haven't talked to this dude in months. And I see his name come across my phone, and first thing he said, man, Brother Drew, man, I got to tell you something, bro. He's like, I listened to your spoken word, I listened to your music, and he said, bro, that stuff saved my life, bro. And it was just like, wow. And, you know, he was from a different gang, and he was the one that I was telling you. He's like, it's crazy to see a Latin king and a GD call each other brothers, and to say that, man, we love each other, bro. And to know that what God put in my heart, what I had to go through, right, could potentially help somebody else, bro. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all glory to God for that, bro. Like, I don't deserve no credit, man, because let's be honest, I deserve to be up on that cross, right? But, man, because Jesus said, man, he seen something else that I ain't seen in myself. He was like, no, listen, I'm gonna take this, but I got a plan for you. I got a plan for you. I got a plan for you. Plan for you. Right. And it's been amazing, man.
Yeah, I love that, man.
It's been amazing.
I love that. Well, just to close it out, man, I think the bottom line is it's like you only find life in God. You know, there's nothing else outside of God's will that will say you'll ever be successful in what you do.
That's right.
You know, like the world's success is fun. You know what I'm saying? It's look cool to have all the money. Like not hating on money. Money is what you need.
You can't
You know
serve
what I'm
money
saying?
though.
What happened?
You can't serve money.
100%.
You can't serve two masters.
You know, so like everything in God is all I need. So,
That's right.
bro, Drew, thank you so much for just joining the platform and sharing your story, man.
Thank you, bro.
Truly, truly impactful. Thank you, Josh, Lemi. Y'all stay tuned for more content. Young and Faith.
Yeah, I'm really feeling dark, my soul is for the flames. Never folded, could've been different. Boy, I took a lot of L's cause I never did listen. Try to get it right with God, live my life as a Christian. Trying to fill these empty voids, tell me what am I missing. Yeah. Blood was popping like a soda can. I'm getting older, man. Really needing closure, man. I'm getting closer, man. Kick a dough, they hopped out them raid vans. House full of kid, a couple roaches, no raid, man. Tired of all this drama, we was chasing after.